This is Diana Lovejoy, who was married to Greg Malvihill and lived in Carlsbad, California, but soon their marriage fell apart and they divorced. After a messy divorce and many legal issues, the court ordered Diana to pay $20,000 to Greg for his share of their family home. The court also ordered her to share custody of their son. Diana became furious upon hearing the court orders and planned to kill her ex-husband by teaming up with her boyfriend, Weldon McDavid. Greg was shot in the torso, but fortunately, the bullet did not hit his heart, and he survived. Both McDavid and Diana conspired to commit murder, and the court has sufficient evidence against them.
It's so painful that some people in this world seem to think that I would have it in me to do this,
she said. Interestingly, she fainted in court. She lowered her head on the defense table for a few seconds.
Verdict. We, the jury, find the defendant, Diana Jean Lovejoy, guilty of the crime of attempted murder of Greg Malvihill.
And as soon as you hear guilty, you hear a thud.
Guilty of the crime of conspiracy to commit murder.
The courtroom fell silent, except for the sound of her family crying in the background.
I need to take a break.
I need a break, she said. She was brought to the floor, and when medics took her out, she still seemed unconscious, but doctors later found out she had only fainted. Weldon McDavid was sentenced to 50 years to life in prison because he was the one who pulled the trigger, and Diana was sentenced to 26 years to life in prison. This is Ryan Stone, a Colorado man who went on a crime spree that spanned 5 counties and was broadcasted live by a news station's helicopter. Stone was convicted of carjacking 3 vehicles, including one with a 4-year-old child inside the SUV. Authorities said that when Stone fled, he led police on a chase at over 100 miles per hour. If we rewind, we can see a vehicle that Stone was driving hitting a Colorado State Patrol officer who was trying to place stop sticks. The officer ended up with serious injuries. You see Stone pulling another victim out of their vehicle and driving away. He enters a busy intersection, and now the chase is on foot. He runs off the road into a parking lot, passes between 2 buildings, slips on ice, and loses his jacket. Now, there's just a fence in his way, but it's too high. The cops close in and he finally surrenders. Stone is now in the county jail, but he believes he should be paid for his internet fame, boasting to friends about the high-speed chase.
Hey, did you know I made the news in the UK and Australia? What? Yeah, you get paid by YouTube. So, Channel 7 News, I believe, is going to be the one that gets paid for that. Well, I'm going to contact Channel 7 News. I want to get paid. You guys are getting paid using my name and my video footage.
During his opportunity to address the court about the recordings in jail, Stone blamed emotional stress and drug use.
We are going through trial after that. It was a 1.5-week trial. Extremely stressful. One of the phone calls about seeming like I was bragging about making international news, this, that, and the other. That was within the first week of being arrested. Still coming off of drugs.
Stone was convicted of 18 charges, including attempted manslaughter, child abuse, and assault. The judge sentenced him to 160 years in prison. This is Jaleel Smith Riley in a Cincinnati, Ohio courtroom, who the police claim confessed to a robbery that resulted in the death of a 20-year-old woman and the serious injury of her boyfriend. Portia Brooks was in her car with her boyfriend, Aaron Martin, when Smith Riley approached the vehicle with 2 accomplices to rob them. When Smith Riley discovered that Martin didn't have any money, he shot him in the head, leaving him with permanent brain damage. Smith Riley then shot Brooks, who died 3 days later.
Lord, go back home with you. I just want to come home with it.
This is somebody that feels genuine remorse. This is somebody that thinks about this every day, and he knows that he can't go back in time and undo what he did.
Now, Portia Brooks' mother delivers a victim impact statement.
But he killed me mentally, emotionally. He killed my identity as a mother of 3, as a family of 4.
Now, it's Brooks' sister speaking.
I have to deal with life without Portia, so he should deal with life without parole.
These are the moments before Jaleel Smith, Riley, receives the news that he will never return home.
Defendant serve a term of life without parole. As to count 4 for the offense of attempted murder.
This is Esteban Carpio. The police were questioning him for the stabbing of an 85-year-old woman in Rhode Island. In the interview room were Carpio and 2 detectives. One of the detectives left the room to get water for Carpio, leaving only him and Detective Sergeant James Allen. Carpio grabbed Allen's gun and shot him twice, killing him. He then jumped out of a 3rd-story window and tried to run, but was apprehended just 45 minutes later. At his arraignment, Carpio appeared wearing a mask designed to prevent the offender from spitting and biting, and his face was in rough shape, which stunned the courtroom. It wasn't so much Carpio's reaction that was shocking, but rather his family members making accusations of police brutality.
Step up.
It's police brutality. He was mentally ill and he needed help and we couldn't get it. We tried and tried. And he didn't deserve this.
An FBI investigation concluded that the police did not use excessive force and that Carpio's injuries were sustained due to his jump from the 3rd floor and the struggle with law enforcement.
Every day, I face the facts of what I did and what happened.
He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Let me know what you think about the video. I'd like to ask you to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. It really helps a lot and costs you nothing. And now, let's move on to the last case, which will leave you stunned. This is Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari, a religious couple living in Cedar Springs, Michigan, and they were charged with the murder of their 10-month-old daughter, Mary Welch. Reportedly, they told police that they noticed the baby was thin and underweight, but did not seek medical attention due to their religious beliefs and distrust of medicine and the government. This is the 911 call from the father when he reportedly found his child dead.
How long ago did you find this child?
It's about an hour and a half. I was waiting. I called my lawyer first thing to ask, what's the next thing I could.
So you found the child an hour and a half ago?
Yeah.
And called your lawyer first, correct?
Yes.
Okay. When was the last time you had contact with the child?
Last night,
Okay, so you put her to bed yesterday at 3 p.m.?
Yep, and then this morning at 10.
So you're saying it is normal for your children to sleep from around 3 p.m. till 10 a.m.?
Usually about 9:30, yeah.
And you said when you found her, she was already believed to be deceased, right?
Yes.
And that's when you consulted with a lawyer?
Yep.
Do you believe she was beyond help already?
Oh, yeah, she was dead at the door now.
After the autopsy, it was revealed that the cause of death was malnutrition and dehydration due to neglect by the adult caregivers. This is the moment they realize they will be spending the rest of their lives behind bars.
That you're both charged with what they call felony murder while in the perpetration or attempted perpetration of child abuse in the 1st degree. They're alleging that you murdered one Mary Welch. That is a charge called homicide felony murder. It is life without parole. It requires a DNA sample to be taken upon arrest. which is often like a cotton swab or in the inside of your cheek. The second offense that you're both charged with is called child abuse in the first degree.
That's it for today's video. Leave a comment about what you would do if you were a family member in any of these cases. Subscribe to the channel and see you soon.